Speak No Evil was written and directed by James Watkins, the man who brought you this underrated gem, A Woman in Black. Like, I'm serious, not enough people talk about this movie. It's really freaking good, featuring Daniel Radcliffe in his first starring role post-Harry Potter. And this movie had trailers that were in front of every single movie over the past 4 months or so, and yeah, I was starting to grow sick of this trailer also. This movie stars the likes of James McAvoy and Mackenzie Davis, and it follows a couple who are invited by another couple to their country house for a weekend holiday. The hosts soon begin to test the limits of their guests as the situation escalates. And for those of you wondering, yes, I am aware that this is a remake of the 2022 movie of the same name. And for those of you wondering, no, I have not seen that Danish version. But honestly, I need to. And not knowing the twist, the big twist that happens in this movie, like, it really opened up my eyes to how really creepy and ominous this story actually is. But with this being Blumhouse's version and James Watkins' version, it was still a very uncomfortably entertaining movie. Watkins has so much finesse as a director, some really gorgeous looking cinematography, great shot composition, phenomenal use of mirrors in particular in this one. And honestly, after this and The Woman in Black, I can't wait to see what else James Watkins does. He's really freaking good. And you want to know who else is really good? You probably didn't need me to tell you. James McAvoy has done it again. The man just has so much range. It is a sin that he has not even been nominated for an Oscar yet. I was in the camp to give him a nomination after Split came out, because that is still honestly his best performance up to this point. But this character that he's playing, Patrick, or Patty as he's called, he's so freaking unpredictable, man. Like, you don't know how to feel when you're around him. And honestly, when he's so welcoming and kind and just joking around with our dad hero here, like, honestly, it kind of makes you feel more uncomfortable because it's like you don't know when he's going to snap next. Really, really wonderful performance here. You also have Mackenzie Davis in this movie playing kind of our hero in a sense, the mother of the normal family. She's the only one with a level head around here. And especially when it comes to a scary movie that's owned by Blumhouse, that is really refreshing to see. Because I gotta tell you, Blumhouse's track record this year has been, well, what's the nice way to put it? Piss poor. That's the nice way to put it. Especially as it goes with writing their heroes into being likable people. And Mackenzie Davis as this character is certainly a very likable presence. Matter of fact, when James McAvoy is being kind, he can be a very likable and charismatic dude. Like, I'd want to hang out with him. I also gotta mention those 2 young kids that they got in this movie. Like, you'd be considering yourself lucky if you got one great child performance out of your movie. This one has 2, both from the girl playing Agnes and the little boy playing the character of Ant. Both of them really, really great here. And those of you who've never seen Speak No Evil, but the character of Ant has a lot going on. A lot of trauma happening in that little kid's life. That's all I'm going to say about it. He's really good at selling the horrors that are in his life. Now, to my understanding, as someone who hasn't seen the 2022 version, it is pretty much the same plot here. Although from what I'm hearing, the original takes this material a little bit more seriously. And at first, when I was thinking about this on the drive home, I'm like, this kind of falls under the remake umbrella. So this movie really doesn't have a whole lot of originality to it, the 2024 American version, that is. But I honestly don't think that criticism is all that fair. Because when did Infernal Affairs come out? Like 2002? Then you fast forward 3 or 4 more years and you get The Departed, which in my opinion is not only one of the greatest remakes that's ever been put to the screen, it is the best Martin Scorsese movie that's out there. And I do think that even as someone who hasn't seen the original Danish version and as someone who wants to, I think Speak No Evil 2024 at least, it can definitely stand on its own. In regards to nitpicks, I do feel like the character of Ben played by Scoot McNairy, even though it is a really solid performance, I think he is written to be a little bit too cowardly, a little bit too much of a dumbass in my opinion. Because this father has so many opportunities presented to him on a silver platter to get his family the hell out of Dodge. And he just doesn't do it. It's almost like Patty has brainwashed him in a sense. And there's some really interesting friction that goes on between him and Mackenzie Davis. But I was constantly looking at this guy and I'm like, dude, get the hell out of there. Maybe one too many times, but I feel like if he left the first time, you wouldn't really have much of a movie and not really much of an exciting climax for that matter. Probably would have been a worse movie because it would have been too easy. But I think as the movie builds and builds and builds, it is very Get Out in a sense, and I mean that in a good way. Especially if you've never seen the original version, you don't exactly know when the pin is going to drop. It is a pretty slow burn, and you don't get a lot of answers as to why this family is as weird as they are until you get to the closing 20-30 minutes or so. And that final 20-30 minutes is extremely entertaining, not extremely bloody. So if you're a little bit squeamish to blood, you can honestly rest assured that I'm telling you there's not a lot of blood in this. But if you are squeamish to, let's say, a broken ankle, maybe a broken wrist, if you don't like the sound of that, maybe this isn't the movie for you. And as someone who has never seen the original and doesn't know how the original ends, I'm pretty sure it ends the same way if it's the same plot line. I was thinking the movie was going to go in one direction, and I was about to criticize the hell out of this movie for not going in that direction. But the final button on this movie that we do get is so much more crowd-pleasing. Like, I'm telling you, my theater was packed tonight. Everybody was laughing at this movie. They were entertained by it in an uncomfortable way. It's not like they found the movie funny or anything. There was just a really uncomfortable, weird vibe in that room. And these people were laughing almost as if they didn't know what to think. I was laughing that way too. Because again, like myself, I'm sure a good majority of those people, if not all of them, did not see that original Danish movie. So they didn't know when the pin was going to drop, and they didn't know how the movie was going to end. So I would say in terms of remakes, Speak No Evil is a darn good movie. This is easily far and away the best thing Blumhouse has put out this year for sure. Really solid direction from James Watkins. Can't wait to see what he does next. Great technicals here. Really cool, desolate location selection. Not a lot of music in this movie, which I only feel like adds to the uncomfortable level this movie gives you. Yeah, just a lot of really solid acting work being thrown in. James McAvoy really can't do no wrong. He is the guy who's carrying this movie on his shoulders. Mackenzie Davis is certainly no slouch on screen either. And I think aside from the nitpicks that I was telling you guys, Speak No Evil is pretty much exactly what I'm looking for in a thriller. So I'd recommend definitely checking it out this weekend. I'm going to give Speak No Evil an A-. Tremendous performances, phenomenal tension. This is not a thriller to miss. Let me know what you thought of Speak No Evil down in the comment section below. Let me know if you prefer this one over the Danish version. Have you guys seen the Danish version? I love discussing all new things in movies and entertainment here on The Regular. Thank you all so much again for your continued support and your patience with me as I crank out this content, in addition to going through a huge transition phase in my life as I start moving out and into my own apartment. That's right, literally on the other side of this room are some boxes that I've already started packing up. Big changes going on, and you're going to see a change in scenery over here pretty soon. But if you want to stay up to date on all things in movies and entertainment, this is the right channel to become a part of. Do consider subscribing today. Tap on that thumbs up as well. Y'all are the best, my friends. Thank you so much again. And with all that being said, Back Talk, commence.